All right. It's Friday?
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
Friday.
Okay. Another quiz for you.
Okay.
All right. You're from Canada, right?
Oh, hi.
MD stands for.
I've been a business guy, so I'm going to go with managing director. But it
Okay.
could also stand for medical doctor.
No.
No.
In this truck,
Yep.
Friday means money day.
Yeah, of course. Finance committee getting ready to splash out the big money.
Yep. Friday's money day.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
is it
yeah.
BMD?
BMD?
Big money day?
It's not the biggest money day.
All right.
It's a big money day, but because the biggest money days are things that are double-digit billions.
All right.
Teens of billions,
Okay.
right? Those are the really big money days.
Okay.
Today's, still big money, but probably the biggest one today, believe it or not, $350 million to look at AIDS research, support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's funny, I remember when I was a kid, I read a science fiction story, and it was about a future where a woman was living with AIDS, but nobody really understood why she was upset about it because there had already been a vaccine. They never found a cure, but they found a vaccine, so people stopped worrying about it. We're almost there, There's a little bit of the concern about AIDS has come off because people are aware now that you can get on drug regimes. It's not a death sentence. It's not like if you touch somebody, you get AIDS. Everybody kind of knows that now. So you wonder if the urgency is coming off. But apparently our government doesn't think so because they're going to pile another $350 million into research and support. So that's still a priority here.
What's the content of the research? What are the research specifications?
They just, they put it into a big thing, and there's a committee that'll give grants out to this scientist and that scientist that wants to do a particular piece of research. So it's not like there's an overreaching philosophy to the research.
I think the proposal might hand in some time ago, but the processing time.
Oh yeah. That's quite normal with these things. This is kind of a broad. This is also like, hey everybody, wear a condom. Don't share needles. All that kind of stuff that was kind of very fashionable when I was a kid. But now it's kind of like, really, who doesn't know that? But some people, they just don't know. So that's in today.
But you know what is also on the other hand, because it is an old research.
Yeah.
The government feel more safe to grant the fund. You see that the strange thing is that if you repeat something old, it makes them easier to explain. If you try out something entirely new, then if things doesn't go into the right direction, the government will find it very hard time to explain it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes some government officials will simply go for the conservative route. And this might be one of the cases where you go for the conservative route, researching something that is well researched.
The Economist recently had a whole thing on repeating results in bad science, right? And what they were saying is that now there's so much pressure on scientists, and that includes Hong Kong, to come up with original research. Because in the old days, you would test a hypothesis, somebody would go out and do the experiment, it's like groundbreaking results, and it gets in all the newspapers, but then nobody ever does repeat tests. Now, Asia used to be famous for that. They used to do all the repeat tests. There'd be a big breakthrough in France or the US, and then somebody would basically do the same experiment here, basically saying, well, is it also true if you have an Asian test base? Is it true for Chinese people, right? Because there are genetic variations. But that's not so popular anymore, because what used to happen there is you would find out, you'd be like, hey, these guys' results aren't repeatable. And it would raise a red flag, but people aren't doing that as much, so kind of bogus results don't get checked as much as it used to, because everybody feels like they have to do something new. And Hong Kong is moving in that
So you don't
direction.
think AIDS needs to pour in more money to do repeated research?
No, I'm just saying that it's not as front and center as it used to be.
Not as pioneering.
I mean, well, AIDS was like the most, like in the 1990s and right into the thousands, the two most fashionable diseases were breast cancer and AIDS.
Yes.
By far and away. The Hollywood was all over it. Everybody was just pouring. So much money got poured into it.
Well, breast cancer is still something very hot after Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, because it's so widespread. But AIDS, they actually got quite good progress. Right? They now have drug regimes that can help people to control it. Now I think the progress is slowed, but they do seem to be closing on a vaccine. So I think it's not as fashionable as it used to be. Of course, the big fashionable thing now, of course, is prostate cancer because of Movember. It's my last dig, so I won't mention it after this. I'm done with Movember for this year. But but there are other things that are coming up. But the government, our Hong Kong government, is still, sometimes with these diseases, if you stop paying attention to them, you stop with the public awareness campaigns, they make a comeback. Tuberculosis is a great example of that. So the government's still on AIDS. What else is going on in Finance Committee today? The VTC is going to get $67 million to upgrade their IT and services. Good for them. We've talked about how important they are now, given people doing less university, should be doing less university, more vocational trades. It's great. And then another one that got on the radar, APEC finance ministers will be coming to Hong Kong September 2014. And we picked up on that through the Finance Committee because the government's requisitioning $63 million for a meeting. That's a lot of money for a meeting, it seems to me. Like, these are finance ministers from New Zealand and Chile and Mexico, which are all great countries, but $63 million, like, how much security, Grand Hyatt, 5-star this, 5-star that do you need for these guys? And aren't they paying their own way? Something
but I just sometimes I don't understand. I mean, if you invite APEC to come to Hong Kong, it's kind of like inviting atrocities to come to Hong Kong.
Well, finance,
sometimes.
Yeah, but if it's the heads of, then because Obama's coming, and he's got all the security that's got to be done for that. Understandable.
But people will protest.
Finance
exactly, people will protest about bankers, about these countries, the finance ministers working too closely with the bankers.
But it's not World Bank, it's not IMF, it's not even World Trade. The Koreans are going to come and go crazy like 2005.
But if you invite APEC, the Grand Assembly, then it
because then you've got heads of state. But finance ministers, like, all they've ever come up with is the APEC travel card.
Well,
which is awesome.
This is kind of like, I know somebody was going to hit me with that, but criticize me with that. But it's kind of like when you talk about AIDS. I mean, who doesn't know that Hong Kong is a financial hub? Who doesn't know HongOng is a financial center in this part of the world? Yeah. And you still need the finance minister to come to Hong Kong to reinforce this image?
Well, yeah. Like,
it's just like, how come you need to pour more money?
Yeah. Well, I don't have a problem.
Into AIDS.
Yeah, because I don't...
Well, it's all right. I mean, the finance ministers can come. But in terms of brand building, I mean, we don't need further reinforcement on our brand as a financial center, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I just wonder why we've got to cough up $64 million, to host these guys.
Well, I think it's the basic entry fee.
I think maybe they put Timothy Tong in charge of the entertainment. Maybe he's got a new job.
No.
Timothy, how much are you going to need to take these guys? Oh, at least $63 million worth of Baijiu. But you know what I mean? Like, these guys could be paying their own way. I don't really get why, but I do, but I don't. So. Anyway, so that's what's going on in Finance Committee today. It all adds up to a couple of $1 billion, but that's what's going on. That's Friday, and after that, happy hour.
Let's pick a keyword to summarize a lot of the items of today's Finance Committee.
Okay.
Repeated effort.
Yeah, just ticking things over, but that's the business. Sometimes the business and government is just keeping things ticking over.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Repeated.
But I'm looking forward to the weekend. We've had a great week, brilliant weather all week in Hong Kong. It's my favorite kind of weather. I'm ready for a big weekend. So.
All right. Thank you.
Catch you later, Vincent.
See you.
Cheers.